Hello, Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point, your source for Kentucky news and analysis from a conservative, Christian, and common sense point of view. Well, as you can see, I'm not in my office this week. I'm at the road at a conference, but we still have some important Kentucky news I want to discuss with you. And I've got good news for you, and I've got bad news. The bad news is Amy McGrath is running again for Congress. When I first heard this, I kind of felt like this.
I'm back.
Not again.
Yes, Amy McGrath is coming back on us again. Kind of reminds me of like a chicken salad sandwich that sat out in the sun too long. You get it down and it starts to come back up on you, and you know whatever happens, it's not going to be pretty. This person is completely out of step with Kentuckians. Remember, she was caught on camera saying this: "I am further left. I am more progressive than anyone in the state of Kentucky." Well, that just proves in her own words that she is completely out of step with Kentuckians and is wanting to push this agenda, this radical leftist agenda that Kentuckians are not for. I was looking it up. Back when she ran the first time in 2018, she raised more than $8.5 million running in the 6th Congressional District and lost. Then she ran again for Senate against Mitch McConnell back in the year 2020. And she lost by more than 20 percentage points. That is a huge crushing difference. Out of 120 counties, she lost 117 of them. That's more than 97.5% of all the counties in Kentucky. So you have to wonder, how many Kentuckians are going to be donating to her campaign? Already in her previous campaigns, she has spent more than $100 million to lose and then lose again. And now she's going to lose a third time. Can you imagine any Kentuckian saying, you know what, she spent $100 million and that's not enough to make her win. I'm going to give her some money anyway. No, people are not going to be doing this. I'm going to tell you where the huge, vast amounts of money for the Amy McGrath campaign are going to be coming from. They're going to be coming from California and liberal New York, and they're going to be trying to dump this money in. This is an opportunity and a great example of why the Kentucky General Assembly needs to pass some election reform laws. And this would be a beautiful one to start with, is saying you cannot donate to a campaign in a Kentucky election if you're not from Kentucky, because we're getting all of this out-of-state money, again, up to $100 million she spent so far, to influence our elections. Kentucky money and Kentuckians should be the ones involved in our elections and nobody else. Wonderful opportunity for the General Assembly to step up with some wonderful election reform laws. So the question is, can Amy McGrath win?
Good guess, but actually no.
Well, one of the factors of that will depend on who's going to be her opponent in the general election November of next year. Not this year, but next year. Right now in the Republican primary, you have Andy Barr, a current congressman. You have Daniel Cameron, the former attorney general and gubernatorial candidate. You've got a Kentucky patriot by the name of Michael Ferris. And you got a Lexington businessman by the name of Nate Morris. Those are the 4 people on the Republican side seeking to be the Republican candidate. However, everybody keep this in mind, that the deadline to register to run in the primary, this is not over until January of this coming year. So we might see other people enter the primary race on the Republican side. One of those people who's expressed interest in this and would be a major contender is a man by the name of Scott Jennings. He is a personal friend of President Trump. They've been on the stage together many times, called him friend, and Scott Jennings has national audience recognition. He is the conservative commentator on CNN and really does a good job defending conservative ideals and principles on that liberal channel. So if he enters the race, that could be a major shakeup. So let's examine by the numbers. If you look at the numbers, can Amy McGrath really win? Well, according to the Kentucky State Board of Elections, the last time that she ran, the Democrats of Kentucky had 1,672,380 registered voters. And from that time when she ran last time and lost by 20%, to today, the Democratic Party of Kentucky has lost 288,104 registered voters. If you think you lost last time by 20%, and from that time to now, your party has lost more than 250,000 registered voters in our state, that does not bode well for your chances to win on another race. If you think you're going to come to Kentucky and win with those kind of numbers, if you're going to come to Kentucky and bash on President Trump or talk about how she endorsed Joe Biden, those are the things that are not going to register with Kentucky voters. It really makes me wonder, how many times are the Democrats of Kentucky going to give this lady tens of millions, up to $100 million, and she lose again and again and again and still keep putting her back up? So I have good news and I have bad news for Kentucky. The bad news is Amy McGrath is running again for Congress. But the good news is Amy McGrath is running again for Congress, and she will win the Democratic primary. And when she does, that's just going to be a little gift for every Republican in the state. I know I really shouldn't enjoy that so much, but I really do. So we will be keeping a close eye on this. I believe she will win the Democratic primary in the spring. We'll see who the Republicans choose to be their candidate in the spring, and they'll face each other in the general election next November, not this November. We'll be keeping a close eye on this and be taking a closer look at the different Republican candidates in the primary as we get closer to Election Day. Make sure you stay tuned in for that. So that's the news we have for you this week, Patriots. So until next week, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.